Good evening. Welcome to this week's Circle of Harmony. So, from the last 2 weeks, we are exploring the topic of equanimity. And honestly, the more I'm looking at it, the more ungraspable or indefinite it seems. So, taking this session to understand more of it, so that we can, be more and more equanimous. Monica had taken that session with James, the workshop on the Aryan spirit. And in that, among various other things, it was said that equanimity is the basis of true peace. I really liked it in the sense, we say we are at peace. We say we are not equanimous. I mean, I'm just talking about myself. So honestly, the peace that then I touch, because it's still dependent on other things, several things, it's not true peace. It cannot be true peace without equanimity. So I don't know, it kind of shook me again, and that was a good shaking because we all need to be more shaken up. So in the last few sessions, if we can just quickly recall, I'll start and please add on. I remember that, we did an exercise as to why we lose our peace, and the main culprit that we saw was, we all shared our experiences, was I, right? This, like, everything has a I, my preferences, my likes, my dislikes, my beliefs, my images, my respect, my perception. So whenever there's an attack or a poke at my eye, I kind of lose my balance. And I think, there's a quote, I don't know by whom, which says that, if you throw a pebble in the sea should not get turbulent, right? But I see that I do get turbulent, right? Like I might get it back very soon, which is a blessing in itself. Or I might, which again is a learning. And yet I let it go deep. And that's in my capacity because it can just go duck and gone. Yeah, so that was the main I. Then we saw, Thai's video on non-discrimination, in which he spoke about how the right hand does not discriminate among, with the left hand because it knows it is one. When it does something, it doesn't show pride. When it is, and when it hurts the left hand by mistake, it doesn't say that, um, I'm sorry, it doesn't say that I'm sorry because it's one entity. So that was the thing. And any other, I'm sure, we did discuss a lot of things. Any more things that one remembers or any other experiences before we delve into, because I had requested us to be more vigilant about, equanimity as such. And if any sharing is there right now. Okay. So we'll quickly start with, I had before, I had shared this small poem by Rumi. We might have seen it before too, but I just wanted to go over it once more, just to remind ourselves, how, how Sri Aurobindo says, or I don't know, Mother says that the issue is that we take ourselves too seriously. And the humor is not there. And if the humor is there, that means that it's, things are all right. So if any of you have the capacity to unmute and just read it for all of us, we'll start from here today.
I can go.
Please, Cyrus, thank you.
Yeah. This, the guest house, This being human is a guest house. Every morning is a new arrival, a joy, a depression, a meanness. Some momentary awareness comes as an unexpected visitor. Welcome and entertain them all, even if they are a crowd of sorrows who violently sweep your house, empty of its furniture. Still treat each guest honorably. He may be clearing you out for some new delight. The dark thought, the shame, the malice, meet them at the door laughing and invite them in. Be grateful for whoever comes because each has been sent as a guide from beyond.
Yes, any reflections, any thoughts on this? Although it's quite clear in itself, and yet we know that the practical implication needs a lot of effort and sincerity.
Yeah, absolutely. Going through this, it feels so simple that you have to accept everything. But I mean, when that time comes, like especially they mentioned about the third line, a meanness also, or something, or sorrows. These are the ones that you cannot just. It's at least difficult to accept with a smile, or is what I would say.
Yeah. Yes, I was. Thank you. Yes, Ardaji.
Ji?
So can you hear me, Sidhu?
Yeah, I think Shamlaji, Shardaji wanted to go, and then you can go.
Okay,
Please.
okay, yeah, yeah.
Yes, Shardaji, we can hear you, please.
See, when as soon as we see this feelings, sorrows or unpleasant feelings, see, we are not in a position to be equal. Immediately we'll feel sad. So it is very difficult. That's what I feel.
Shardaji, just stay with me here. Let's look at the process, okay? You said there is sorrow and that immediately makes me feel sad, right?
Yeah.
So if you were to describe it to somebody, as from a third person's point of view, can you describe the mechanism to me that how does one person feel sad? Why does one person? I know it might sound very stupid right now, but let's just do it.
Yeah, sorry, Taru, can you please come again? I had some issue with the audio. Now I disconnect.
Yeah. So I was saying that something happens that makes me sad. Okay, one thing happens that makes me sad, right?
Yeah.
Can we look at the mechanics of it? Like if you have to just, if say somebody doesn't know, if say somebody, alien comes and he asks you, Sarja, how do human beings become sad? Can you walk me through the mechanics?
Yeah. See, you tell me whether I'm right, because in explaining, if my
there is no right, wrong. Whatever comes
my
to you very
understanding is
naturally.
correct or not, I'm saying. That way I'm saying.
Okay. Yeah.
See, something happens. I told about my brother's family. So if I don't have any phone call from them, we are happy. So as soon as we saw their number, oh, this phone call has come. See, after that, I think, no. See, nothing will be there. It's okay. Don't worry. I'll keep myself, I'll tell myself. But as soon as I see the phone call at 9 o'clock, I'll not be in my peace.
Yeah. So let's stop here. You see the phone call. I want the mechanics. What happens? Walk me through it.
Yeah, I will feel, why the call is coming. What would have happened? Are they not well, or something they want, or is she going to fight? So, all these negative thoughts, as Monica once said, it's all chain. The chain of thoughts will come. And see, once you receive the phone, nothing will be there. So many times nothing will be there, but my thought pattern will go like that. that will make me very sad. Oh, Rama, why this at this time this phone call is coming? See, I am going to lose my peace. So something in me will tell that I am going to lose my peace.
Yeah.
So this is the thought pattern I have.
Yeah. So basically, say I'm the alien, okay? And I
Okay.
ask you that, but nothing has happened, right? It's just a simple phone call. So
Yeah.
why do humans run in so many different directions that something is wrong, they will fight when nothing has actually practically happened?
Yeah. See, I think because of the previous experiences, our mind is connecting. That is what I feel, See, nothing will be there. But our mind immediately starts jumping to previous experiences. This is how it has happened before. So it might as well happen now.
Yeah. So basically, then if we look at this, which you are absolutely right? It's just that our past dictates our present, right? So
Yes.
that means, in a way, I am saying that the present doesn't matter too much. I'm living the past again and again, right?
Yes.
So that
yes.
means, in one way, my life right now is going a little wasted because I'm not seeing things as they are, right? And that is true for everybody mostly. And in each circumstances, I don't react or respond based on what is presented. I carry so much with me and I react from that position of, oh, so much has happened to me already, right?
Okay.
Yeah. So, matlab, the question is that if I were to tell my child, if I was giving him a teaching or if I was telling him how to live or her, would I tell him or her that, yes, this is how I've been living and you live like this? This is good?
Yeah, actually, for advising a child, so that has happened long back. Why do you want to connect it now? So don't connect it. Think positive. All this bhashan I will be giving. But whereas when it comes to me, you actually nailed on the problem. See, I am living in the past. I am not living in the present. That is what it shows. See, I am always connecting the previous experiences with now. So now is always different. It has happened long time back, but there is no necessity that it has to happen. Repeat again. But our mind is maybe it is stuck in the past. You have nailed it. Beautiful. Yeah, now I understood. Yeah. See, whenever I see the phone, my mind immediately jumps to the past. So I am having all the fear, all the negative emotions. But whereas when I have to advise somebody, but I will not think like that. I will think differently.
Yeah. So in a way, if I look at this, then I'm not really, and I'm not saying anything new, but just looking at it this like that, there's no real reason for me to be alive, right? To be living, living means evolving. There's a continuous change, right? But if something in me keeps holding on to the past patterns, reactions, actions, that this is it, this is how I am, aisa hi hu main. So that means that I'm not really living, right? Like I would not call this a life when I cannot look at these waves and catch them and see that, not anymore. Or, see where I'm going. Can I just stay here? Can I just stay here? Right?
Yeah.
So just, I mean, we are capable, right? If I don't know if we can't do it, who will? That kind of now that we are in this circle, not talking about harmony circle, but under the mother's grace directly.
Yeah.
Now we don't have an excuse, right? Like now we must, when we see, we must hold ourselves more accountable that why am I going there, right? I don't want to go there. Past, what it's called in Hindi, Sardaji? Sardaji, in case you can switch on your video, that would be lovely. I mean, in case you have the capacity.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, what is past called in Hindi? No? It's called Bhoot, Bhootkal.
Yeah, yeah, Bhutkal.
Yeah, so they basically say that, when people are scared, right? मुझे भूत से डर लगता है, right? We say कि
Yeah,
भूत,
yeah, I
and
understood.
all. So that is why the two words are same, because they are not there, and yet you let them rule you. So living by the dictates of the past is kind of letting the ghosts rule you. I'm not be able to put it nicely, but I hope you can
Yeah,
understand
yeah,
what I'm trying
yeah,
to
I
say. That
understood. Yeah.
yeah,
Mhm.
yeah,
So when the moment comes, we should see in one of the sessions that monk, I always misspell his name.
yeah. Thich Nhat Hanh, Thai.
Thich Nhat Hanh. Yeah,
Yeah.
he said, when the telephone rings, don't immediately go and jump and pick up the phone. You just wait for 1 second or 2 seconds. Take a inhale and exhale 2-3 times. Then you pick up the phone. See, like that, as soon as I saw the phone, I saw the number, I see the number, immediately everything will be, it will start circling. So, see, when it happens next time, see that Thich Nhat Hanh's advice is not only for one time. We have to keep it always. See, I'm saying it for myself. Huh? I'm just
Yeah, absolutely. But all stories are same, Sardaji, and all have the same end too, right? So that's beautiful in itself. Yeah.
Thanks, Taru. Thanks. It was
Yeah.
beautiful. This was always, as soon as I saw your topic today, only this I wanted to discuss. So nicely it
Okay.
came up.
Okay. Great. Yeah.
Yeah. And last week you had given some exercise. What is that?
Last week seems like a lifetime ago. I don't remember, but I remember that I had basically requested everybody to just be more vigilant about how we lose it, how we lose our equanimity. When Ritu had shared that example of the police stopping her and she getting angry, and the police guy said, "इतना क्यों गुस्सा कर रहे हो, right? चालान ही तो है." And suddenly so just that's what I remember. Yeah. And I do remember that I had shared that we'll be discussing Get Sunmala's, the aversion, liking, ignorance thing. But I'm not sure we'll get to it today because there's so much on this topic. But if any, Cyrus, no, Cyrus wasn't there. Sham, do you remember if there was something else we were supposed to do about this?
Oh, am I audible?
Yes.
Yeah, I vaguely remember. Okay, because it had been say a fortnight ago, if I'm not wrong. So I don't remember really.
Okay, but you are the youngest among us, so my hopes were on you.
Oh, thank you, thank you.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So, oh,
Haji. Yeah, I remember that Ritu was sharing that how the policeman had challaned her and she was not very happy about it. And initially she had an outburst, and later on he calmed her. That policeman calmed her by saying that, "Ma'am, ये तो एक चालान ही है, बस पे कर दो और निकल जाओ." All that thing I remember. Okay.
do you remember any exercise that we were supposed to do? Anything?
No, I vaguely remember about any exercise or
Okay,
we had
okay, that's
even talked
fine.
about it.
Okay,
Not, I'm not sure of that.
okay, that's good. Okay, no problem. So probably it wasn't important. If it would be, it will come up again.
Yeah. I
Yeah,
remember
great.
a version only. Okay.
Yeah.
And
So,
no, it had been a fortnight. Okay.
Yeah, that's okay. We know. Yeah.
Yeah,
Nobody is doubting your,
and
yeah.
life in Bangalore is difficult. Okay.
Yeah.
With all this rain and cloud burst happening and what you call and waterlogging happening, it is difficult to even travel from point A to point B.
Okay.
So maintaining equanimity in the present context in Bangalore is somewhat difficult.
Shyam, it's difficult every time, everywhere, every moment,
Yes,
right? And it's in these circumstances that we get tested, right? Like if something is going okay and I say, oh, I'm at peace, what value is it of, right? Actually, nothing, although I might feel very good about it.
Yeah.
But it's when things are going worse, and I might be feeling that, oh my God, what's happening?
Mhm.
And if then I can be equanimous, that means something, right?
Mhm.
Just looking at it like that, and even if one is losing it again and again, just looking that I'm looking, just like I'm falling and I see I'm falling. It's again, I feel has a lot of beauty in it, because that means that my next step would be that I might not fall next time, right? Or the next time, or the next time. So at least that realization, that acceptance, that recognition, because our life starts from a place of so much ignorance that we don't even recognize. Buddha, I think the first thing, I mean, that I heard that he said was that, you first have to accept that life is pain. कि जीवन दुख है, संसार basically, not just everything, but sansar is dukham. So he said, if you don't accept this fact, you don't even have to come here. You go, you live, you enjoy. Once you can accept that, yes, it is pain, then you come, and then what I'm saying would make sense to you. So that is accepting things for what they are. But we keep getting interruptions of happiness and upliftments and all. So we say, nahi, nahi, theek hai. It's a mix, it's a balance. So that's why we don't get, that rocket doesn't get that propulsion to leave the, hard shells of patterns and ill wills and falseness, because it feels theek hi to hai. I'm sorry, I don't know where all I went. Yeah, I'll stop now. ठीक है, Shamla ji, please, thank you for your patience.
It's fine. I was just wondering about the passage there. Dark thoughts, malice, and shame. You invite it with smile. So normally we say that if dark thought is there, you should observe it and stop it. Okay, don't analyze or don't get involved in that. So first of all, how can we invite and be happy with it? And why should we? Because we know that it is going to give us pain or whatever. Yeah, that outcome would be not good. So why should we do it? So can you please throw some light?
Yeah. It's really beautiful how things are ever progressing. Initially when I see something which I consider bad, I use my mind, like my mental domain, and say, I look at it, I see what it does to me, and mentally I try to stop it, right? Okay, anger, right? Like I look at it and I'm like, oh my God, like what's wrong with me? Why do I keep getting angry? I must not get angry. And then I do processes, right? I say, I aspire, I pray. In addition to other things, I say that, practice like Sardaji was saying, how Thai said that, if something happens, don't just react, right? Take 2 breaths. You'll respond much better. So those are the things we do. And yet we see that it's very tough, right? Again and again, even with your best intentions, your possible level of sincerity, we see that things don't go that route, right? So then we have 2 options. Either we keep thinking that, I'm worthless, I'm good for nothing, mere se to hoga hi nahi, what am I doing? Or a state comes when you start finding it funny that it's here again, it's here again. So that is the humor, I think, that Sri Aurobindo talks about, that knowing that, gira hua to main hui. And yet when I'm falling, I can laugh on it, to see. Because, here there's a very big catch, and something I realized this week only. I'm amazed you asked this question. Say, for example, I'm walking on the sidewalk. Say, Sham is walking on the sidewalk where there's the cloud burst, and a car comes and there's a full load of keychad on him, right? Which is very common. And if Sham starts howling and crying that I am keychad, what will you tell him? You please unmute and tell me. If you find him sitting on the sidewalk and crying कि मैं अब कीचड़ हूँ, what will you say to him?
See, my Kichad, he is not Kichad, right? He has been put, dumped in that. That's all. He is not Kichad. So that two are separate things. So what we say, first we say that, no, you are not Kichad, first thing. Second is, okay, it happened. Okay, and there was his error or his mistake was not there. He was just going on his own thing. It happened. So first thing what happens is, if some mud fell on us, we feel that somebody is looking at us and they may laugh at us. We say that no, nothing to laugh, just get up and wash, and whatever available thing is there, we'll clean, and we'll try to talk smoothly or softly, make him
So
comfort.
exactly that. When anger hits me, when selfishness hits me, when smallness hits me, when preferences hit me, I sit down on the pavement and I start crying. देखो मैं कैसा हूँ, right? देखो मेरे को फिर गुस्सा आ रहा है, देखो मैं फिर ऐसा कर रहा हूँ.
Correct.
Because I believe that is me. But what if I tell you that it is equal to the feature that was on Shyam's body? It was outside. We talk about hidden forces, we talk about lowered nature forces, we talk about, how they're intruders.
Okay.
है ना, जैसे हमारे घर में कोई चोर आए और मैं रोने बैठ जाऊं कि मैं चोर हूं, है ना, तो वील से कि नहीं, अरे निकालो उससे, it's not you.
Right.
Each master, every mistake has cried and said that, you are not that, right? I'm not that. The whole Vedantic philosophy, neti is like, no. So I think this is when the laughter comes, that see, it's here again, and see, a part of me might also start crying that, oh my God, see, I'm doing that. Yet there's something in me which can look at it and smile that, see, that play is happening again. That drama is happening again, and yet who we give importance to, right? One day the one who sees will say कि नहीं ये तो कीचड़ है. अब देखो, in the sense again, how it's very beautifully said in Upanishads that Maya, the whole illusionary world that we are in, उसका आदि नहीं है, उसका अंत है. We will never know how it started or why, but we can end it. So we can tell Shyam, sorry Shyam to be using you in this example, that go and wash yourself and it's over, right? He can sit there and cry for 2 days. He can go to the Prime Minister of India, complain. He can throw a rock on the car. He can curse the gods that why are you mean to me? But that nothing would change his feature except he can walk to a washroom, and wash himself. So, but मेरी problem क्या है? Why my life gets so dramatic? And I invite a lot of miseries. I keep running after why is it happening to me?
Yes.
Or why can't I do better? Which is a good question also. But in all those whys, I don't realize it's on me. I feel it's me. And it's not me. It's not me.
Right.
Yeah,
Wonderfully explained. Thank you. Thank you so much. It's nice.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Sadaji, it feels like you wanted to say something.
No, it was, beautifully explained. Thank you so much. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I have never imagined this way. If anything comes, then I will, as you said, if some teacher is there, then I feel, or we'll go back to the same story. But this is very, very, very nice. Thank you so much. Thanks.
You're most welcome.
Thanks, Shyamla ji, for bringing it up. Yeah.
Thank you. It's really well explained.
Okay. So
Sorry, I have another one.
Yes.
See, this applies for our thoughts also. Negative thoughts also, right?
You tell me.
Yeah, this applies for negative thoughts also.
Yeah.
So whenever that thought comes, it comes and hits us very powerfully. So at times we feel, at least I feel very, weak.
Yeah.
This is what is happening, since 4 or 5 days. I'm thinking that I should not think, but it again and again it comes. So as soon as it comes, after worrying for some time, then I'll go to the mother. Mother, see how I am. Mother, see how I am.
Yeah.
But when the thought comes,
Mm.
I was, thinking what to do. Shall I write? Or shall I write and tear it so that the thought will go out from me? Or how to deal with this thought? I was just thinking.
Sadaji, two things are coming to me on this, and I hope I remember both of these. The other day, I took my child to a playground, and there a small girl, maybe of 4 or 5 years, was riding a bike. And you know how kids are, she was riding, but she was looking here and there and stuff. And she hit a bench and she fell. And she fell quite badly. And she got up and she was trembling because I think she got scared that what happened. And she didn't wait a second. In an instant, as soon as she got up, she ran towards her mother. Howling, she ran towards her mother. She didn't stand there and wonder, ki, why is it happening? Why did I fall? Her instinct was to run to the mother. So first thing when you said that you first do all the churning and chirping and then you go to the mother, right? So the first thing is we don't have to wait, right? Like a small child who doesn't know where that bench comes from, because it all looks fine till we get the hurdles. We can go right away. We don't have to wait to have that much love. And secondly, I forgot. So the question was the thought comes and it's secondary. I think it will come to me. Sorry.
Monique, sorry, Itaru, when the thought comes, if we are able to see without even seeing, maybe I'm getting into the thought. That is why I'm worried for few seconds or few minutes. After worrying, I will understand that, no, I'm worrying. I should not do this. Then I will go to the mother. See, I want to see the thought when it comes to me. So what to do for that? Maybe what can help me?
Yeah, I remembered now what I was about to say. See, a few days back, Monica had shared something from the mother. It was a very simple one-liner, but I think it was really powerful. She had said that if you don't have anything good to say about somebody, don't say it, right? You remember reading that?
Yeah, I remember.
That was for somebody else, right? Now let's bring it to us, right? First of all, it's saying you are telling me that the other person is bad, right? But more subtle to that is you are thinking that, what's wrong with that person? Why do they do that? So you are not saying it aloud, but still you are dwelling on it. So the next stop is to stop that. Anytime I catch myself talking about, thinking about somebody else, I can stop right there, right? That, I ask myself a lot of times now that whenever I'm going on somebody else, I ask a very simple question, ki, mera ho gaya kya? Am I done? Have I achieved? Have I cleaned up my mess? That I'm looking at the mess of somebody else, no matter how bad I might feel somebody else's mess is. A simple question, मेरा हो गया? So the voice is नहीं, कहीं बिल्कुल भी नहीं हुआ. So then I say फिर रुक जा, है ना? मतलब simple. Anytime I look at, because even when I'm looking at someone working in the kitchen, I see judgments in me. She's not very efficient. She's doing that wrong. She should probably use that ghee or that oil. You should not peel the vegetables. You should scrape the vegetables. And that is why my life is what it is, because this is where my whole day and energy is going. Right? Somebody is working in the kitchen, for example. When I'm not even working with them, why do I have the time, the need, the capacity, the energy, the preference, the want to have that mental chatter, right? Like, why am I, जैसे होता है ना कि that हीरा, why am I giving it in the, कौड़ी के दाम में बेच रहा हूँ, there's this doha, right? I'll find that and share it for Sham. I know he'll ask me. But that's it, right? So then this is very important that first stop talking outside. If I don't have anything good to say, I don't say it. Use it as a mantra. कैसे होता है ना कि no if and but. No if and but. I will stop saying it. मेरा मतलब नहीं है. Second, that we come to the mental chat. That why is it arising? मेरे को क्या है? मतलब ना, not in a negative way. But if somebody is asking for advice, we give it. But if somebody is just, living their lives and content, we let it be. If we see something which we feel is going bad for them, we pray, we tell our mother, right?
Yeah.
What is the thought pattern doing? So, and what you were talking about, that how you don't even realize you are thinking.
Yeah.
And when you start realizing that, why do you realize? You feel an unease in the body, right?
Yes. Yes.
So
Yes.
as soon as you see the unease, it takes us time because we are not present, right? We are so many other places rather than here. So one thing, how they say the supreme companion, in the Bodhisattva vows, we are doing that, we did that thing, that supreme companions are alertness and mindfulness. No other friend, no other person is my companion. The supremest companion for me is my alertness and mindfulness. But I know it's a journey. So whenever I see myself getting uneasy, one thing, Sadaji, I want to share again from my experience. You said you want to look at each and every thought, right?
Yeah.
I would say that it's a never-ending journey of looking at things. You say like people do say past life regression, right? They find out something. Then they do a second session, they find out something. They do a third session, they find out something. How many past life regressions would I do? Because it's crazy, right? Like what impression has been left where? Or I can just start looking at what I am right now, seeing whether it's adding value to me and drop it. What seems easier and more sensible to me, right? To analyze whether it's a good thought, it's a bad thought, whether I need it, it's causing me unease. I saw that unease, so I know it's not doing me good, right? Let's be honest. Irrespective, drop it. And for dropping it, we have to occupy ourselves something else. Okay, this thought is coming, इससे अच्छा मैं mother का नाम बोल लूं. Let me chant mother's name for the next 5 minutes. Or let me just repeat it 11 times or 20 times, because I have a monkey mind, it has to do something. Every time I see it fall or start thinking about bananas again, I say, why don't I think about the mother? Next 2 minutes, 1 minute, right? Or just focus on my breath. For everybody, it could be their own thing that would give them the solace, or it could be different every time. But we don't, if I go in, the first step is always about introspection. आ क्यों रहा है? Why is it there? What do I do? I feel one must do it, initially, but once when one realizes that this also just takes me deeper, right? Like for example, that कीचड़ example, कितना कीचड़ है, कितना गंदा है, कीचड़ में क्या क्या होगा, right? I wonder what the कीचड़ is made of. What type of tire threw the कीचड़ at me? What must be the speed? There's one thing that came to me. I don't know. It was how I had that near-death experience, and my brother left his body in that experience. So I was speaking to somebody in a garden, Ritu's friend he was, and he asked me that voltage क्या रही होगी lightning strike की? Nothing shocked me more than that question, that where all do we go? He knows that somebody left his body, right, by a lightning strike, and the question he's asking me कि कितना मतलब कितने jolt आया होगा उसके ऊपर. So this is an extreme example of just showing what are we and why are we like that, right? Just for having a conversation, maybe. I'm not saying he meant anything bad, right? Or people at times don't know what to say. So don't say, right? Because this is my question, right? That, okay, what would be the voltage? So I know it's an extreme thing, but I just wanted to bring home a point that this is the quality and the vyarthata, unnecessariness of most of my questions and my inquiries. So right now, even sharing this is again kind of a bit shaking me, but I just was like speechless that wow, really? So I'm sorry. I think moving on, please, you say what you, if if anything is coming to you, and we can proceed from there.
So now, it is clear to me that,
Okay.
you have to be, when that thought comes, as you said, you can take the mother's name. And in that way, if we keep practicing, it will do more good.
Yeah.
All these negative thoughts or this type of feelings, as soon as it comes, we can think of the mother, we can call the mother, as Monica shared yesterday. The child goes and hides behind the mother's pallu.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. So if it is practiced, then definitely it will do more good.
Yeah. Yeah. And there's no need wasting time, right?
Yes.
As to
Yes.
why,
After going
how.
into the thought, then coming back is not necessary. As soon as the thought comes, we can, start calling the mother or do something else, whichever suits everyone. Yeah.
Yeah.
After some time, as you said, when I go into that negative thoughts, I'll sweat. I'll feel very uneasy. After that, I'll come back. So we don't need to go there. No, I'll try. I'll try definitely.
And Sadhaji, one more thing. Imagine Meera is 5 years old, right? And she's hurting very badly, right? And she's wondering that should I trouble mama? Should I not? Let me take it. Somebody's troubling her, say, for example, a person is bullying her, right? So you as a mother, after she comes back to you, say after 3 months, that mama, from the last 3 months I am being bullied, or 3 days, what would you tell her? First thing, what will you tell her?
But why did you tell me before?
Yeah, why did you not right away tell me? So imagine how much pain we give mother when we don't go to her, right?
Yes, yes, very true.
But somewhere, I think, how we say that, I love the mother and the mother loves me. And I think Dr. Anand Reddy from Sakar brought this point home for me. We don't really do it, right? We don't really believe it. We don't really give her the reality that we give my everyday. Else, I would not even need to talk about this, right? If I actually, believe in this fervently, that I love the mother and the mother loves me, which now is said even aspiration, surrender, rejection, they say that is also secondary. It was there till the mother was in body. And now he says, it is said that only one thing was left, just Ma and her name. And I love the mother and the mother loves me. That's the only thing it is asked of the sadhaks. I don't believe it. Because a child, like I told you that bench example, she didn't need to be told that go to your mother.
Automatically.
Right? Automatically. Like with tears in her eyes, she could not even probably see. She just cried, Ma. And she just ran across the playground. And her mother came running and met her halfway. Right? As soon as she heard her cry. So, yeah, I think that's it. And yeah.
Thank you so much, Taru. Thank you.
Thank you, Sadhaji. Yeah, any other reflections or thoughts so far before we take this forward?
Yeah, I am imagining Sham with Kichad.
Yeah, you'll get pitai from him after the session if you imagine too much. Mm.
So,
Okay.
this equanimity, I know it's the third session, and my question is still very basic. Equanimity is our state of being the same in all kinds of situation, and or it is, and matlab, that is there, but equanimity is also like our behavior and to other people um, on the same platform. I mean, sometimes our attitude is different towards different people. So that is also equanimity, or equanimity is basically we being the same in all kind of situations.
See, your answer is in the question itself, na? If you are being same in every situation, then you will not act differently to different people, will you? So that comes under the same window. But because I have, likes and dislikes, and I find some personalities better than the other, I have that liking and aversion. But that is, if I feel that, then I react differently to different people.
Yeah, but many times when we are rubbed a very wrong way, then we get rattled and anchored ना कि कैसे उसने ये बोल दिया and उसे थोड़ी सी भी तहजीब नाम की चीज नहीं है and all that. थोड़ा सा तो तरबियत रहना चाहिए, उसने ये क्या कह दिया and all that, things like that come to our mind ना.
Yeah. They come to our mind and they disturb us, right?
Yeah,
Somebody
and
said
many a times
something.
that disturbance is prolonged. Okay,
Yeah.
means अगर कुछ उसने कह दिया बहुत लगने वाली बात और जो अंदर तक पिंच कर जाता है तो then it is a very difficult scene ना altogether.
Yeah, but you see, by doing that, I make it worse for me, right? Somebody
Yeah,
did something, yeah, exactly, which you said was not okay, right? And I catch on it and I sit on it and say, how could you do that? And this. So if I see it as a third person, don't I see what's making it worse? Him doing it or me sitting on it?
yeah, sitting on it, of course.
Yeah.
Yeah, but we are able to think that this thought is not thine, it is mine, and it will harm me only. But still, knowingly, we what do you call? We jump in that kitchen and we start residing in that environment for a longer period of time.
Yeah, it's like Sham again, how they say that you do it one, you do it twice, you do it 10 times, you do it 100 times, but then you realize that, it's not working for me and you stop doing it.
लेकिन अगर किसी ने बहुत लगने वाली बात बोल दी है, like you said that how Ritu's friend rubbed you the very wrong way, which was not at all, what you call, not at all sensitive and not at all proper, okay, for anybody to digest and anybody to utter like that.
Yeah.
That you had lost someone very close and near and dear one to you, and इस तरह से आपसे बात करी, and it was not at all proper. By no standards it was proper.
No, I would not say I went there. I just went to this thing, how do we reach such places, right? So I just prayed for him, and right now also when I felt the unease when I shared it, I did feel an unease. I was right where I was then, and I prayed for him again and all of us, because it's not just him, right? That was just an example.
Yeah,
but
every
most
other
of the
story,
things, yeah,
like every other story is ours only. Like for example, if we see a 20-year-old behaving like a 20-year-old, we see that maybe I'm 30, 10 years back, I was also the same man. I had also that same foolishness and that same idiocy and all that thing. So there we are able to connect on that plane.
yeah. And we learn. See, this week only, a senior from college, he contacted me and he asked me that, hey, do you remember that person from school, college? I said, yeah. And he messaged that, he passed away last night. So,
Almighty.
my instinct was that, oh my, how did that happen? And stuff, those questions. And then I asked myself, how does that matter? The thing is that he has left his body. And how does that matter? How he left his body. So rather, I just took that 2 minutes or 5 minutes, which I would have spent in that unnecessary exchange of messages to just pray for him and his family. Right? Like, this is what I'm saying, that when you see something in front of you which shocks you, you ask yourself, when am I doing this? Right? That is the only purpose of it happening. भाई प्रॉपर था नहीं था क्या बोला क्यों बोला सेंसिटिव था नहीं सेंसिटिव था वो एक that's a secondary thing, but do I do it? If yes, I must stop. Do I do it? Right, I must stop. Just that.
Yeah, I'm able to connect on a what you call on a very large plane, but there are some gray areas.
Yeah, and they'll slowly, Shyam, they'll keep getting white and black, the gray areas. When we'll delve in closer, na, something comes. I react in a selfish manner, right? And then I feel very bad. Oh my God, I'm selfish. And yet there is cosmic selfishness, right? I can step back and I again, that featured example that I'm affected by selfishness. I can see it right now. I can experience it, and now I know how it feels and how bad it does. And I offer it, or I pray that I can rise above. बाकी वहां पे बैठ के रोने से who's getting the benefit? Nobody.
Yeah, maybe I'm very much there on what you were saying. Okay, I'm on the same page as you, but yeah, I do have my gray areas. Okay, shades of dark and gray.
Yeah. And the fact that you are saying you have your gray areas, your gray area, I would say congratulations, right? Because
Thank
lot
you.
of times, we
Yeah.
say we are good, right? We are perfect, we have it all figured out. But to know that no, अभी तो बहुत काम बाकी है, right? So yeah. And again, it's the fact that the deeper you go, how again it's a Rumi quote, right? That the further I go, the more I realize how far I am. So this realization के बहुत काम बाकी है या अभी तो शुरू भी नहीं करा अभी I think there's this I don't know who, some ustad, right? A very 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 big sitar player. When he was on his deathbed, he started crying and somebody asked him that why are you crying? And he said कि मुझे ना अभी तक सारे गामा भी ढंग से बजाने आया. I'm just seeing कि what did I do with my life. So that shows that this endless perfection that can be achieved, endless purification, endless simplicity. And just to hear that, it's beautiful. तो पता तो चला कि गंदगी है, then I will start cleaning, na? If I feel, oh, it's all clean anyways, I'll just be sitting and I don't know, keep drinking tea, that yeah, everything is perfect, no work needs to be done. Okay. So, I have two videos today. One is a small one from Jetsun Mala, Tenzin Pamo, and a pretty serious one from Adogda. So I'll start with Jetsun Mala's small video. We'll hear it and we can reflect on
it. You all know there are two kinds of suffering, the Buddha said, right? There's physical suffering, which we cannot avoid because we have human body. Even lamas get sick, even lamas die, even lamas get killed in accidents, right? So that is because we have human body, the body is going to get sick. We all get old, we all get sick, We all die. But the mind does not need to suffer.
Tadi sini waktu di mana tempat dia mana, tata tu same di sana mana cuma di nari mana, same di sana orang, same di mana di dia mana lah kita, kau itu mana nada, nami itu mana nada, same di mana.
Okay, so I get sick. Maybe I cut my thumb. Ow! Right? So now my thumb is going, whoa, 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 whoa. Ooh, all the blood, right? Then my mind says, oh, look, my poor thumb. Oh, I'm suffering. I'm so sick. Oh. That's you. What a fuss you make. Oh. The point is that even though we hurt ourselves, the body is suffering, the mind does not have to identify with the body suffering. Yes, it can see it's suffering, it will do what it can, but it doesn't become overwhelmed by the suffering of the body. It knows that the mind is not suffering, the mind is not suffering, only the body is suffering. So this is the point. So he's saying that if our mind is under control, if our mind is tamed, then all the other problems which can afflict the body will not afflict the mind. So when we go to see, really good practitioners, then even though they might be very, very sick, maybe dying, but their minds are very happy, very light, they're not concerned with themselves. They are more concerned, they say to doctors and nurses, how are you? They're more concerned with everyone else. Oh, I'm okay, they say of themselves. I'm fine. How are you? This is true, so really we have to think about that. All the advantages in our life, if we could only get our mind tamed.
Yeah. Any thoughts, comments on this video?
Sorry, what
Yes.
was the last line? I'm actually having a little problem today. The last line. I know she spoke about the mind and the body. So, and she mentioned about how if there's pain in the body, it should not affect the mind as much. Is that what she was kind of saying?
Yeah,
And
she
the
said
last,
how many problems we would not arise if we could tame our mind. That was the last
right.
thing, that we could tame our mind.
So, irrespective of everything, we should try and, is what she's trying to say.
Yeah, it's like we are so in love with dramas that something happens, like she was so beautifully visually sharing how we do things, right? And yet, I think I've shared a few times when somebody was, I don't know, going through a mass, a saint was going through, he was like a sadhu, was going through a lot of pain, or I don't know, I think he was having his cancer surgery without anesthesia. And, the doctor asked him that, is it not hurting? Is it not paining? And he said that, जिसको दर्द हो रहा है वो मैं नहीं हूँ. So, just look at my potential as a human. So just that, right? Like I can firstly, the thing is, I don't even know. Then I start seeing. Then I start seeing more and more and more and more. And then I start distancing, right? Then I say, okay, this is physical. Okay, this is a mental thing. Okay, anger aa raha hai. Acha, matlab, then I can start, when I start seeing the mechanical nature of things, then I can get a better control on it, right? Till the time I keep thinking the keychain is me, I can do very little except cry and, shout and scream. And when I realize it's not me, then it is that I can let it go, and I can see it as a distance. You know how, Cyrus, I think you were in the first session. You remember when we were discussing that what is the problem? Why do we do what we do? And the issue was that I take it personally, right? The I.
Right.
Yeah. So just that because, yeah, I think that's about it. That I can, when I start seeing things for what they are and not what I am used to making them, it's easier for me to keep it down or choose not to do that anymore. Hi, Manmeet. Nice of you to join. Yeah.
Hi,
Hi.
Taru, and hi, everybody.
Okay. Anybody else on the video that we saw? Any reflections? Okay. So I'll share the next video. This is by Alok Da. And again, it was a very big one, but I think we'll just share 5 minutes and then we'll reflect. Give me 1 second. So the topic is equanimity in the higher vital. So let's see what I'll just decrease the speed. Yeah.
The first practice that one has to do is, before anything else, basic practice is to learn to detach at least a part of a consciousness from what is happening in this entire range. It's a package. It's not like from the higher vital I'll detach, but keep attached to the mind and lower vital. No, in fact, that is very dangerous. So we have to, it's an entire package to learn to separate the consciousness, the Purusha, the witness, the being. Normally it is by a higher part of the mind. Later on it can deepen into the soul from the movements of nature. So we need to be able to observe our nature, what's happening within it, and all the turbulences, all the storms, the origin, the motive, the direction towards which things are flowing. It automatically gives us a tremendous degree of control over the vital. This is a basic practice, and the Gita enjoins this as the first fundamental practice. The mother makes it very simple and very clear. Sri Aurobindo also speaks about it. The first thing to do is to learn to separate the Purusha from Prakriti. So the mother speaks of stepping back, and by stepping back, she means that basically one has to learn to step back from the whirl of nature and all that is going on and see what is really of value and importance. And then one sees that actually there are very few things of real value. So she says that don't invest energy and tie yourself through 1,000 bonds on things which are of a transient nature. Because if we
Yeah, I think we'll take a pause here. Let's discuss this. I think it's really important. So like we were, discussing, sorry Manmeet, because there are some things that we discussed, we'll be referring to that. So how we discussed that if somebody is walking on the street and a car passes and the person is full of teachers, what can be done, right? And we discussed that we do everything except we go and clean ourselves. We curse, we cry, we complain. So this is what I think for me right now it was referring to, that do what will take me out of it, right? Rather than the more I dwell on it, the more I react, the more I respond, it just fuels it with more energy. So similarly, something happens, right? Somebody says something to me. I can take it and I'm like, okay, he probably or she probably thinks that way. And that's okay. Or, maybe there's something in me that I need to work on. But I don't take it that way. I take it, tell it to 5 different people. Do you know what that person said to me? Can you believe what they said to me? How could they said it to me, me? This me is so transitory that to take everything so hard hit on myself, I think I'm capable of more. Yeah. Anything from any of us? Alokda speaks really fast, but he says some things that are very hard hitting. So I'll continue if nothing.
Do that, they will pull us very badly. And when they pull us very badly, the whole ship rocks. So instead of that, the energy should be turned inward, the consciousness should be turned inward and upward, and we should try to focus our mind on the eternal. And by that is meant that whatever we are doing, whether it be engaging in normal activities, ordinary activities of life, everyday activities, whether it be work, whether it be relationships, whether it be anything we are pursuing, we should try to look for the eternal values, try to turn it towards something which is more eternal and enduring. Rather than towards the immediate, transient, quick gains. Because when we do that, then obviously we are carried away. For example, if a person is living for pleasure, whether it be pleasure of food or any kind of pleasure, money, that pleasure brings, then we are operating in a mode which is an extremely stormy. Our ship will be carried through, or our car will be carried on very bumpy roads through lot of storms and turbulent things, and it will be very difficult to control it, let alone practice equanimity. So second thing that she advises is to exercise or discipline the vital by exercising a luminous sattvic governance of life that the mind can provide. So it's not like whatever the vital feels like, the heart feels, and we just flow with it. A lot of people have that key, I am flowing with my heart and going by, they use the word that myself, and such terms are used. But that self is nothing but the desire and the ego self which is on the surface. So we are driven by the vital and we think that basically it's me. And there is a term which is used spontaneously, whichever way life is taking me. Now this is very dangerous because this spontaneity is the spontaneity of the animal creation. And we know that animal creation, for all its beauty and magnificence, it's not a self-evolving creation, it's a static creation. Animals are where they are beautiful, but they stay where they are, whereas man is meant for evolution. So it's so important not to rush at the first impulse. Every little impulse that comes, every little call, every little suggestion, and we rush in that direction. So to exercise on it a control by first separating, then exercising, putting the thinking mind and the discerning mind, it should start looking at that action. If I follow this trail, where is it going to lead me? This is a very simple practice and a very simple exercise, and all of us have fortunately the faculty of reason and the discerning intellect. It doesn't require a very deep engagement with yoga, but just to become reasonable human beings so that we.
Yeah, stopping at this point for right now. If I follow this trail, where will this take me? And I think it's really important for us to see this in some sincerity and, simplicity, because we have been on those trails so many times. Again and again and again, we walk on the same trails. And then there's something in us, which wonders that how do I always reach here? Or we could say things like, मेरे साथ ही ऐसा क्यों होता है? Why do I always end up suffering like this? I don't take the onus. I don't see that it is I with, the way I'm reacting, the way I'm responding, the way I'm taking things or making them bigger than they should be. I am walking on the same trail again and again and again. Prasadaji, you know how you spoke in the beginning about the bhutkal, right? The past living us. It's again the same thing here, right? That I keep repeating the same patterns. I keep letting the patterns, my reactions rule me. And then I wonder, why is there no progress, no transformation? Yeah.
Taru, may I say something?
Yeah, absolutely.
So I'm not sure if maybe you have already discussed this since I'm joining late, but pertaining to these two videos, I saw two things that are crossing my mind at the moment is that um, absolutely not negating what was being said in the video. अपने जिंदगी की नाव, our ship, we can't hand it over elsewhere. Otherwise, it'll keep rocking, and it's we who will face the turbulence. At the same time, it was said that this whole concept of listening to your heart is so much at the surface is what I'm trying to understand, that if not heart, then whom to listen. So I do understand that there has to be that stable center to which I keep going. At the same time, in order to get up in the morning and move with my life, I need to have something which is there, out there calling me. And that's my heart, which is mostly giving me that call. Uh, so there I am a little confused. If not that, then when, what? And the second thing is about the previous video where I was quiet because um, yes, कीचड़ पड़ता है, पहले हम रोते भी लगते हैं, फिर धोने जाते हैं खुद को. लेकिन what if I'm going cleansing, and the moment I'm out of the washroom, I'm again being thrown the कीचड़. Then I go in again and I'm again washing, and वो कीचड़ इतनी ज्यादा बार डल रहा है कि मैं थक गई हूँ नहा नहा के. And I'm like, I don't know what to do. It's tiring me, it's exhausting me. And the person who's throwing the keychain is also not doing it deliberately. So this is pertaining to my daughter who's dealing with mental illness. I know she's also not doing it deliberately. And but the point is, I am getting affected by it. So it's not a stranger on the road. It's somebody on my own, and somebody my own. It's not even like a marriage where you can walk out of it. It's my own child.
Yeah. Anybody, anything before? Yeah. So, I think both of these are excellent, excellent questions, and you worded them so well. So, I exactly would have just said, that if you're going to a place where again and again you're being, the teacher is being thrown at you, you must question why are you there. But like you said, there are certain situations that you cannot walk out of. But I think and somewhere, how you are saying, you said that it's not even her own fault because she's dealing with mental illness, or she's going through something, right? Stages or the age or whatever. And I, knowing that, I too have done a lot of things which I shouldn't have done, in my childhood, in my teenage years and stuff. And how I know that when things overpower you or just grasp you, get on your head, how you really don't even know what to do about it. The tendencies rule you, the way you react, it rules you. It's not really you. So I think then that mental domain needs to come, that I if I cannot leave this area where the teacher is being thrown at me, then I better get used to the teacher, right? I can pray that the other person can stop. And the second thing is I have to be okay then. People do work in teacher, right? There are people who work in sewages and stuff, and that road work, that is work too. So if I need to be in the teacher for where I am right now, I have to mentally accept it. I have to maybe give it some, okay, let me give myself 3 months or 6 months, for example. I don't know if it's applicable in your situation. I take it one step at a time. And it's like, again, I'd heard something on pain. I think it was by Alan Watts, and he had shared that, the most of the reason why we can't handle it is because we keep bringing the past with us. Say if I'm having, say, a headache, and I'm like, oh my God, yesterday also I had a headache, 2 days back also I had a headache, my mother also had a headache, my father also had headache. I make it worse. So he was just saying that in difficult situations or in actual painful situations, if I can just stay with the present, okay, I'm experiencing right now this particular thing. Can I handle it? Can I handle it? And he said that almost 10 out of 10 times, I mean, maybe 9 out of 10 times, your answer would be yes, I can handle it. But when I go in it with all the stories, that why does it happen to me? खाली मुझे ही सिर दर्द क्यों हो रहा है? Or whatever, whatever the situation is, this was just an example. We make it heavier and bigger. So every soul here is, here to experience something. It's their journey. And, I am an occupational therapist. I've seen a lot of children, having a lot of issues, physical, mental. And for me, I feel more than the children. It's the parents who need to be grounded, who need to be humble. कि हाँ ये है, जिंदगी मार रही है थप्पड़. Can I sit and have that थप्पड़? So again, I don't know the situation, and I don't know, it could be the total opposite of what I'm saying, but I'm just saying that we have to analyze how things are, and then finally just, if the situation is such that we cannot do anything, except, obviously we all have psychotherapists and counselors and stuff and all those things. And meanwhile, I have to give it time and I have to take it. If there's no other way out of it, but probably I can stop taking it personally, that it's happening to me. It's just happening. Maybe I needed to learn a lesson. I needed to be okay with this. If you want to, I don't know, share more details or there's more into it, we can do this right now. You can unmute and share more about this.
Tarun, that was insightful. I think I'll rest it here for the time being.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
Most welcome. And Manmeet, there is, a practice that we often talk about, not so much on harmony circles, but in other circles, not circles like sessions. It's a practice called Tonglen. It's a Buddhist practice, and it basically, it's very powerful, it's very beautiful, and I would advise, strongly request you to try it, even if it makes no sense to you. If, say, I'm experiencing some pain in my life, one thing is obviously I'm with it and I'm dealing with it any way I can. And yet this practice says that I now know, how others in this situation feel. First thing is it's my pain, right? And yet I know that there's so many others feeling pain, and talking about pain in general. I'm feeling some pain because of my situation and it's hurting me so much. And now I know how it feels to hurt so much. So I sit down, I focus on my breath a little bit, 5, 6 in breath, out breath. And now I say that I take in, with my in breath, I take in the pain of everybody who's feeling it. If I have a person who in front of me, 5, 6 people who I feel they are really suffering, I take in their pain. And then I take the pain of, okay, I take the pain of the world in me and I breathe out ease. I breathe in disease, I breathe out ease, I take in pain, I breathe out peace. Again, it might sound like a word play, but you have to try it to know how amazingly it works. So I will share more on it if you want on your personal WhatsApp group. Not WhatsApp group, but yeah, WhatsApp, if you want to try that. It works wonders, especially when the situations are chronic and one is helpless as to karun kya? What do I do? Where do I go from here? It is then that this practice works miraculously. Yeah. So that was the second thing. And the first thing you said was that if I don't go with what I'm feeling, right? अगर जो मेरे दिल की बात है, what I'm feeling, if I don't go with that, how do I proceed from here? So, the thing that's coming to me is here that basically, what I usually, not talking about evolved souls or people who are very reflective, what I call as me is mostly conditioning. I do 9 out of 10 things that I do are not the things that I want to do, maybe if given a choice, but I feel I have to do or I must do to maintain that particular image, to feel or to show that I love or I am a good mother or I am a good spouse. So firstly, questioning that, okay, I'm doing this, especially if I am not happy doing it, then that question, see, if there's no pain, if there's no suffering, then we don't need to do these things, right? But in case something is causing me suffering and I still feel that I want to do it, I must question whether that want is coming from me or it's just something I picked up, how we pick up so many things from here and there. So I think that's a short answer to that, that if it's an inner calling, which is beautiful, right? We must follow it. But most of the things that the call of my soul, or it was a reflex, or I'm human after all, I must do it, or this obviously is my responsibility, morals and stuff, they are at a very superficial level. If something is not causing, it's taking away my peace, I must question and see कि क्यों हो रहा है? Why is it there? What can I do? Taking it backwards. Okay, I feel I'm doing something, it gives me unease. I question, why is this unease here? I take it back, I take it back, I take it back. Why do I have to do this? Why do I have to do this? And what if I don't do it? So those experimentations and questions, I think, really help. So when Alokda was talking, Dr. Alok Pandey, he was talking about that kind, that most of the things that we call as my reflex or my spontaneity is not really mine. Yeah. So it's almost 9. I think I wanted to reflect more on this video, and there was some very beautiful, beautiful text that I found. You're most welcome, on equanimity from again Sri Aurobindo and Mother, among other things. And we also had, to see that small video I told you about aversion, liking, disliking, ignorance. But I think that we'll have to do next time. So we'll be taking equanimity again the next time, because I don't know, the more I'm seeing it, the more and more and more I'm realizing that it's I don't know. To honestly, what I'm seeing is that being me, being myself, I don't think I can be equanimous. It seems like an impossibility. So I think a shift in dimension needs to happen. Because, I feel like I'm a bag of preferences, likings, dislikings, liking this a little bit more, liking that a little bit more. And for all that to go away, probably I need to disconnect from, this thing that I have become. Then is my only hope, that shift in dimension, that feeling of, that we were discussing in the beginning about intruders, that I don't really want it, honestly, if I look at it. And yet there's so much in me who wants it, to look at it. I'm sorry if it's sounding like a wordplay again. And yet it's not. So please, in case anything, any sharing, small comments before we end, if we can unmute and share, I would appreciate it. It's a circle. We must share what's on our mind for us to move beyond it, right? Okay, so I'm assuming there's nothing, so we'll end it here. So thank you so much, Radha ji, Shamla ji, Cyrus, Ritu, Sham, and Manmeet for
Thank
coming,
you,
joining
Taru.
in.
Thanks for all the examples. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you so
Thank
much.
you, Cyrus.
Thank you.
Thanks,
See
Ritu.
you. Yeah, good night.
Yeah, thanks, Taru. Thanks.
Thanks,
Thanks, Ritu.
thanks, Sham.
Bye, bye everyone.
Hi, Ritu.
Bye, everyone.
Bye, Sadha ji.
Taru, are you free? Can you allow me 5 minutes?